Warp drive active.
Light missiles are the longer range frigate launcher. They fire slower, do a bit less damage, but have much greater range, up to around 40 kilometers at great skills. They are also higher on the CPU and power grid requirements than rockets. Most frigate tacklers and PvP ships would tend to fit rockets due to the difficulty of fitting light missile launchers along with all the tank and propulsion mods. Rockets do significantly greater damage against frigates and destroyers than light missiles. Okay.
Docking permission requested.
So if you're gonna tackle people, which means if you wanna bite people's ankles, then you go for rockets. I see.
Docking request accepted.
Maybe I should make one and just go join a nullsec corporation and bite people's ankles. But like, you know, I don't enjoy blowing people up the way other people do, so it's like I can do it. I know how to do it, but it's not something that makes me happy. Anyway. Thank you for doing this, my friend. To see others suffer is never easy. The Amar is a slave society. They own slaves. They enslave other cultures. To see others suffer is never easy, he says. They are a slave empire. You have proven you respect our ways. My lord now believes he can trust you. Yes, we know Dagon and of your hunt for him. My lord hired him as a tutor for Mistress Mizara some 10 years ago. Though my lord fancies himself a skilled pilot, he is very much of old Amar stock. He wished the mistress to be better educated in the newly emerging technologies and political realities than he. Dagon proved a remarkable teacher. Sadly, he and Lord Tafos had a falling out after the coronation of Empress Sarum. There was an altercation and both Dagon and the mistress fled. I do not know where Dagon himself is, but I do know the man who brought Dagon to my lord's attention, an archaeologist of some respect, by the name of Dr. Cainius. You'll find him at the location provided. Be warned, he surrenders nothing for free. Oh, fine. Theology Council Tribunal. Alright. Get into a tackle frigates and bite people's ankles.
Warp drive active.
Missile advantages and disadvantages. They cannot miss their target. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Your guns and lasers can miss, but missiles never miss. That's crazy. As long as your target is within range, they'll always hit. The amount of damage they do, however, varies with the target speed and size. There are 4 different missiles in each category, one for each damage type: EM, explosive, kinetic, thermal. This means you can select the damage type you want to use. Certain Keldari ships possess bonuses to kinetic damage, however, meaning with those ships you might have a better result using kinetic than other damage types. Like projectile turrets, missile launchers do not use capacitor, which means you can keep your cap spare for other things. Okay. Because missile damage does not depend on things like angular velocity and there's no optimal or fall-off ranges, missile damage is consistent across all ranges. Missiles do just as much damage at long range as short range. The biggest disadvantage is probably that missiles can take a long time to reach their targets, especially at long range. This means your damage is delayed instead of instant in case of turrets. This can be a pretty big disadvantage in some circumstances. Yeah, so if they're like very far away and you're using slow missiles, and they're using guns, they can pile on the damage before you even hit them. And conceivably, they can hit you, you launch a rocket, and before the rocket hits them, they warp away. That's also possible. Because the damage is delayed, some fast ships, especially interceptors, can actually outrun missiles. Yeah, there's that too, you can just run away from the missiles. The way missile damage is calculated, more on this later, means that larger missiles like torpedoes and cruise missiles do really bad damage against smaller ships like frigates, even if that frigate is stationary. Yeah, okay. But they're long range and they always hit. Missile range... Wait, no, it's a dock, dude.
Warp drive active.
Mouse over to tip of your launchers while in a missile boat in space. This takes into account your ship bonuses, modules, and skills. Show info, multiply together velocity and flight time. This will not take into account any skills or bonuses. Missile damage. Explosion radius and explosion velocity. Explosion radius tells you how big the explosion is. A larger explosion will spread out its damage over a larger area and do less damage to small ships. Okay. A small explosion radius will concentrate its damage in a smaller area and do more damage to small ships. The attributes of the ships that control this is called the signature radius. Alright, let me just... this guy? Dead, is she? Damn, I was fond of her, and not in Tophos' way, mind you. Sure, dude. Yeah, I know, he was purely her protector and patron to mold her and shape her for a life of dedicated service to God and Empire. Listen, I've been studying human history for a long while, and platonic patronage between a lord and mistress hasn't happened since the time when the reclaiming just involved stabbing our heathen neighbors with pointy sticks. But if that was all that was going on, nobody would fuss. But that is enough story time for you for now. You want more, you have to do something for me. Hell, you don't want to hear more, you still have to do something for me. Don't worry, it's real simple. There's a dig site a ways from here, a small cluster of asteroids containing artifacts from some of the first Amar space lanes. I know there's at least one good piece left, but every time I hire a team, they get driven off by pirates. All you have to do is go in, get that artifact, and return to me without dying. Okay, sure. Wait. Civilian relic analyzer? I have to... Civilian relic analyzer, this thing. Are you serious? Alright, what am I taking off? Well, this one, we never use this one. I'm gonna unfit that. Put that on. Put that on. Alright. Recovery, warp to location. There's probably going to be pirates. Explosion radius. The signature radius of a ship affects how fast other people can target lock that ship. It affects how easy it is to hit that ship with a gun turret and how much damage missiles to do to that ship. Generally, the smaller the missile, the smaller the explosion radius, a smaller radius being better. Rockets, for example, have the smallest explosion radius, and they'll be most effective at hitting frigates. Whether they actually do the most damage to frigates out of all missiles depends on lots of different things. Alright, let's wreck these guys. That doesn't do anything to me, I'm using missiles, dude. So this disrupts your tracking. It makes your guns turn more slowly. But we're not using guns, so it doesn't actually affect us at all. Alright, it's just you. Not even moving, I'm just sitting here. The graph on page 12 of the slideshow. There's a slideshow? Oh, this is okay, I don't have a slideshow. Once your target is sufficiently sized for your missiles, you'll consistently do 100% of missile damage. Whereas if your target is half the size of your missiles, you'll do half the damage. Right. So we want a small explosion radius. What are you doing? The guy's firing lasers at me, look at him. And getting wrecked. I don't think I need those 3 anymore. Oh, my bad. Need 1 more. Alright, good. Explosions. Reload more. Salvage. Heavy missiles. Draco Caracal. With no skills, the explosion radius of a basic T1 heavy missile is 140 meters. Signature radius of a cruiser is about 100 to 160 meters, so heavy missiles will do pretty good damage to a cruiser. A frigate, on the other hand, I want to go to that one. Has a signature radius of only 40 to 50 meters, meaning that a heavy missile will do less than half its damage. Fascinating. So, if we look at a heavy missile, let me just go to the ammunition and charges and missiles and heavy missile. So let's take this one, Scourge. Attributes. So it does 142. So half of that is 70, right? 71. Let's say 71. Whoa, what happened there? Somebody sold them for cheap. 71. Light missiles, Scourge. Let me go to there. This is 83. I see. Interesting. So against frigates, the light missiles will do a little bit more damage than the heavy missile. But of course, against cruisers or bigger, then your heavy missile will do full damage. Whereas, like both your missiles will do full damage, but then your heavy missiles does a lot more damage than the light one. Fascinating. So if you're using heavy missiles against, so let's say if you have like 6 launchers on your cruiser and you're hitting frigates with heavy missiles, it's only about as effective as if you have 6 launchers on your destroyer hitting frigates. Like, it doesn't actually. Fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah, fascinating. We can carry drones. I guess we can use drones against frigates when we're in the cruiser. The cruiser can hold 3 drones, I think. 3 light drones. Explosion velocity. The missile property tells you kind of. Hold on, let me just go over there. What's the range on this? 5 kilometers. How fast the explosion spreads. A fast frigate might be able to outrun an explosion and so take less damage from a missile. Crazy. In game terms, having a faster explosion velocity, for example rockets, means your missile would do more damage against fast-moving targets, while a missile with very slow explosion velocity, for example torpedoes, will do very little damage against a fast-moving target. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there it is. Found it. Well, that was easy. Mysterious statuette dock.
Warp drive active.
Alright, let's get out of here. You might think that the explosion velocity indicated on your missile is the point at which the damage starts to drop off, as the target moves faster than that velocity. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. The point at which the damage does start to drop off is also related to the missile's explosion radius and also the signature radius of the target. Okay. Missile damage equation, skills that affect missiles,
Docking permission
modules that affect
requested.
missiles,
Docking
rigs
request
that affect
accepted.
missiles, ships that can use missiles. Skills. Okay, let me remove this. Unfit that. And then put this back. Repackage. Put that there. This guy. Complete. Blood Raiders. You're lucky you lived. No, I'm not. I'm good, that's why I lived. They're psychotic and bloodthirsty, literally. Their sect believes purity can only be reached by consuming blood. And clone blood is purest of all. I'm afraid that makes you Capsuleus their favorite snack. Well, they're dead now, so that's okay. You've done me a solid, so I return the favor. A few years ago, Lord Taphos tried to hit me up to tutor his new miracle girl. I declined, but I pointed him to Dagon. Dagon was holed up in this monastery at the time, part of some weird hermitage. So I introduced him, thinking nothing of it. Then I start hearing rumors about how friendly Dagon is with Mizara. This doesn't go well with Taphos, particularly if you also believe what they say about Taphos and Dagon. Dagon was driven off, and truth told, that's what's probably turned Mizara against Taphos right then. So Taphos waits to keep a tight lid on the whole affair himself, keep the rumors still. So that's his character history. Hope you wrote all that down. No, I don't care, there's no test or anything. But what did Dagon do after? I honestly don't know. But 5 will get you 10 that it has something to do with his life before Taphos. This is the location of the monastery he stayed at. It's been abandoned for some time. I wouldn't be surprised if scavengers have moved in. Go reclaim the hell out of that place and I'm sure you'll find something useful. Okay, strange coded documents. You're going to a place, picking a thing up. Missile launch operation. Fire your missiles faster. 2% per level. Rate of fire.
Warp drive active.
Rockets, light missiles, heavy assault missiles, heavy missiles, torpedoes, cruise missiles. Increase damage to the turn by 5% per level. I mean, I'm reading so much stuff. So you'll notice that if you want to get anywhere in EVE, you have to do a lot of research. Because, like, there's a lot of stuff in the game that the game doesn't really explain very well. So if you don't read up on all the game mechanics, you just don't know what's going on. The scavengers are in all sorts of ships. You can't even see them, they're just blowing up in the distance. Oops, that's the wrong button. Alright, and we're done.